people next in line, lower class and social slime. They don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids. No one lives countries. Lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower class and social side, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See the shit, force of air. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids. No one lives countries. Lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is not Canada Live. This is, excuse me, I got my shows mixed up. This is Game On here on UCY.tv. It's the 25th of April, and it doesn't feel like the 25th of April. It's still freaking, what? 26th? 26th of April, and it's still not what you would call warm out by a long shot. It was like most of the day it was down around 3 degrees. And that ain't warm. Not for this time of year. And, but again, it's always global warming. Oh, climate change, excuse me. Anyways, tonight, I had someone send me a link to a bit of legislation, or not legislation, but a bit of time in the legislature. And I'm going to throw this in the chat because they're all the same. I don't care what country you live in. Okay, but the deal here is it's our hydro system here, our electricity system here. And people are still whining and complaining about it. They got to wrap their brains around some reality. This has been going on for a very, very, very long time. I think this really got started pre-1992. Okay? Pre-1992. And this is 2016. And people are still whining and bitching, complaining about hydro. And they don't seem to get it. Okay? Everything's being sold off. Just like they did when the wall fell in Russia. Okay? The businessmen and the politicians all got together and raped everybody. Took advantage and took control of everything. Privatized everything. For the benefit of themselves and their friends. Anyways, this is Rock 95, classic rock, new rock, get it all. Anyways, so there's a picture up here, a scan up here of a Hydro One bill from April sometime. And they used no power for the month. So that's pretty good. And it's a service account is service address is it's a numbered Ontario limited company, so maybe it was just somebody's office or something. And it was shut down for a week or whatever, a month or whatever. But anyways, we have on-peak power, which costs you through the nose. That's the power that people normally use power at that time of day, like for breakfast or for supper, normal usage times. You pay through the nose for it. 17.5 cents a kilowatt, which is going up in May to 18 cents a kilowatt. Our power here used to be 5 cents a kilowatt or less, 4.5, 5 cents a kilowatt, not that many years ago, before the smart meters, before the breakup of hydro, before making it competitive, and so on and so forth. Now that it's competitive and restructured, instead of paying 4.5 or 5.2 cents a kilowatt, come May 1st, peak hours will be 18 cents a kilowatt. Now, in the old days, it used to be the same price 24/7, but now you pay at different times. So mid-peak, it's 12.8, so that's going to go over 13 cents. And off-peak, that's when you'd be normally sleeping. You can get it for the low rate of 8.3 cents a kilowatt. Anyways, so these people use nothing at on peak, nothing at mid peak, and nothing at off peak. So their bill should be, I don't know, nothing. Would make sense to me. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. But then we have Common Core and the new math and all that kind of stuff, and we have this psychotic nonsense going on everywhere on the planet, but we're talking about my province right now. So the delivery charge is $99.25. Regulatory charges is 75 cents. Add that up, you've got $100. And then we have 13% tax on everything here in Ontario. So we have $100, of which we have to add tax to $13, so the bill comes to $113. Amount of energy used, 0. And so if you use no electricity in Ontario at all, none, not a bit, you never switched on one light for 1 second, your bill is $113. Now, a lot of people would call that theft. If you gave me nothing and you delivered me nothing, or I used nothing and you delivered me nothing, then how in the sweet bejesus do you get to put a $99.25 delivery charge on it? Because it says here you didn't deliver anything. Oh. Well, yeah, but we've revamped Hydro. We've made it better, faster, leaner. And that's why you pay more. Now, I'm going to put this in here. It doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're from Ontario or you're Canada or Britain or Australia or I don't care where. It's all the same crap. This is a Patrick Brown, who is the leader of the opposition, which are the Conservative Party, and the leader, or the in power group, the Liberals, which would be the Democrats in the United States. So we have the Republicans asking the questions and the Democrats answering the questions. And then we have the Speaker of the House. So when the children in the House get bickering at one another, he gets to threaten to throw them out. So he's the Speaker of the House, or the school teacher, I guess you would call it, because these are a bunch of little idiot school children, because that's what they want you to stay as, a little idiot school child. And so you have the teacher at the head of the class while these questions are being answered and asked and not answered. So the speaker gets to play his part. And it is all a play. both of these, both the one asking the questions and the one answering the questions, understand the scam inside and out. But you'd never know it from listening to the actors. They have their scripts. When the blue guys are in power, then the red guys ask the blue guys questions, but the blue guys won't answer the questions. And so now we have the Democrats, liberals, and the Republican conservatives. And so now the conservatives are asking the questions, and the liberal Democrats, of course, are not answering them. They call this question period. So I'm going to throw that in there because you really do need to take a listen to it, because if it doesn't make you want to get a rope and start hanging people, I don't know what will. But this goes on every single day, regardless of what the subject is. It just goes on every day in the House. It's if it wasn't so sad, it would be comical. So it would. Why didn't that pick up the link? Let's go back and try that again. Where'd it go? Here it is. Try that one more time. My computer's really being weird. I don't know if Bill Gates is in it or Al Gore's inside of my computer or who the hell's in there. Maybe George Soros, but it's really not working the way it should. Anyways, this is it. You can look through that. Now, the problem is that this started, like I said, way, way back. And Morris Strong, and if you're in Canada, you would know the name Power Corp, where a lot of our prime ministers are bred, and where Morris Strong was the head of. And Morris Strong and Pierre Trudeau worked hand in hand, starting the takedown of this nation. And so Bob Rae, whose father is was a good friend of Morris Strong. Bob Rae was the leader of the NDP party way back in the 90s, and he just happened to pick Morris Strong and appointed Morris Strong, his godfather, to restructure Ontario Hydro. Now, it was Morris Strong. Not only was from Power Corp, and he's a Rockefeller mouthpiece. Was head of UNEP, which is the United Nations Environment Program, and he said isn't the only hope for the planet that the industrialized nations collapse. Isn't that our responsibility to help bring that about? And this clown ends up in charge of Ontario Hydro. Ontario Hydro being the gem. If Ontario Hydro wasn't the best electrical system on the planet, it would have been at least number 2. And that's how good a system we had. And it made it very efficient. It was very reliable. It was very cost effective. And that gave us an edge on competitiveness in industry. And Ontario was the hub of industry in Canada. Well, if you're going to destroy a nation, the best thing you can do is jack up the hydro rates to the point that the businesses are no longer competitive. And then the guys from Power Corp and that were setting up all their industries over in China. And guess where all of our industries went when the price of electricity went through the ceiling? Now, the original plan, as they always spin everything out, was that the old Ontario Hydro was saddled with debt and it wasn't efficient and it was polluting and so on and so forth. Play up the negatives, always play up the negatives. And it had to be restructured. And because it's a monopoly, it's not competitive, even though we had the most competitive rates in North America. And we were going to bring in a new Ontario Hydro, which is more competitive because we're going to build competition into the system. We're going to encourage competition. Okie dokie. We have no competition. wherever you live, you still have the choice of one provider, but instead of Ontario Hydro providing your hydro, it could be any mix of nonsense. And let's see, the province used to set our hydro rates, but then the province went ahead and legislated this OEB nonsense, the Ontario Energy Board, into existence. And the Ontario Energy Board is the one that sets our rates. Only problem is, those who legislated OEB into existence cannot tell the OEB what to do. They can suggest things to the OEB, but they can't tell the OEB what to do, so the OEB can do whatever the hell they want with the price of electricity. So, you jump from Morris Strong, and then you jump over to the Conservatives after the NDP got voted out. If you don't like what our party's doing, well, then you can vote us out. Okay, we'll vote you out. And then they voted in the Conservative Republicans, who kept the ball rolling in the takedown of our electrical system and the destruction of our industries, especially the heavy electrical users. And so our conservative Republican Minister of Energy, he ends up with an Enron lobbyist attached to every single one of the people of any importance within the ministry. And he's flying down to Houston, Texas, Jim Wilson is, flying down to Houston, Texas to meet with Ken Lay at head office at Enron, for crying out loud. This is the same time frame that California is being bankrupted by these bandits at Enron, manipulating the electricity market. Now, apparently, some of the people were a little concerned by what they were seeing over in California, and they were told they could do a work around it and, do a bit of a, smoke and mirrors, bait and switch, so that the people wouldn't even notice what was going on in California up here. So they put their deal together. I'm going to go find that and put that in there as well, because it's got some emails and stuff. Emails are always good to read. And it's, if this will come up here. Come on, baby. So we have Patrick Brown. Well, we'll do this first. So the sales pitch was, okay, what year was that? Toronto Sun. June the 11th, 1998. Hydro bills may drop by 20% through deregulation and amalgamation. Now, the word may, legally, in the legalese, the definition means shall, must. So if we go up here and it says hydro bills may drop 20%, it says shall, must drop 20%. That's not exactly what happened. They were around 5 cents a kilowatt. Come May 1st, they're going to be 18 cents a kilowatt. That's not, well, again, see, we're into this new math, so maybe it's the new math. But if you're going from 5 cents to 18 cents, that is not, in the old math days anyways, a drop of 20%. And I don't do Common Core math. I've seen things, I've constructed a house or a car with Common Core math, and it's not really even recognizable as a house or a car. So maybe that's what they did with the electrical system. Maybe they used Common Core math. Anyways, Jim Wilson was the Minister of Energy in the Mike Harris PC government and was a central figure in the electrical system scam in Ontario. Mr. Wilson and the Harris government worked closely with Ken Lay and other Enron lobbyists to build an electrical system designed to hurt consumers and businesses. It's not an accident, it's by design. Because Morris Strong was in on this in the beginning. Remember, we got to destroy the industrialized nations. But anyways, the electrical scam in Ontario started with the Bob Rae NDP government when Morris Strong, Rae's godfather, broke up Ontario Hydro. The electricity scam continued through the Harris and McGuinty governments, and now it is the Wynne government. Today, Premier Kathleen Wynne and the Liberal Party administer the Enron-styled electrical rate manipulation scam. The OEB and the government used the frauds, deceptions of conservation and sustainable development, i.e. Agenda 21, as an excuse for the rate increases and as a front for the crimes being committed on the hardworking people of Ontario. Anyways, I'm going to run through some of these. I haven't read these for quite some time. Alec Dadson, a former Enron lobbyist, is now, this is the real kicker, Alec Dadson, who set up a lot of this stuff, is a former Enron lobbyist. He is now second in command. He's the chief operating officer at the OEB, which sets the ever-increasing electricity rates you pay. Here's a letter from Ken Lay of Enron to Energy Minister Wilson in 2001. Okay. To the Honorable Jim Wilson, Ministry of Energy, Science and Technology, Hearst Block, 4th floor, Bay Street, of course. Dear Minister Wilson, John Lavoretto and I would like to thank you, as well as Brian Purchase, Judy Hubert, and Rick Jennings, for taking the time to meet with us in Toronto on June the 19th. I was pleased to meet you again after your brief visit to Houston and to the Enron building last year. John and I particularly appreciated the discussion with you and your colleagues about the opening of the Ontario electricity market. In our view, Ontario is well down the path towards creating an effective, deregulated electricity market. We would encourage the government to move forward to market opening in accordance with the Market Readiness Plan adopted earlier this year by the Ontario Energy Board and the Independent Electricity Market Operator. Now, this is all more strong setup, setting the stage before the Conservatives got in. We understand that the government has set a deadline of May 2002 for opening the market. From Enron's perspective, we remain confident that the market can and should be opened earlier than this date. Establishing and adhering to an early market opening date will, in our view, assist the government in ensuring a smooth and successful transition to the new competitive environment. As we discussed in our meeting, the Texas Restructuring Plan highlights the importance of a fixed date in attracting investment capital to the electricity sector. Okay, this is, we used to finance this ourselves. We built it ourselves. The men and women of this province built it, and it was a very good system. And it helped all the people that worked in the plants and the factories and the mills and all that kind of stuff have a very good life. My colleagues and I look forward to continuing, he continues here, our dialogue with the government and in particular with your ministry regarding electricity restructuring and related issues. Again, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you and your colleagues. Yours sincerely, Kenneth Lay, Chairman, Enron Corporation. Here's a revealing email by Alec Dadson, formerly of Enron, Vice President of Energy Direct, and now COO of OEB. Subject, this is from Alec Dadson, Enron, to Richard Shapiro of Enron. Subject, Ken Lay, John Lavaretto, briefing material. Date, Thursday, 7th of June, 2001. For your information, forwarded by Alex Dadson, yada, yada, yada. Subject, Ken Lay, John Lavaretto, briefing material, I have attached the following. A high-level outline of the speaking points for Ken Lay and John Lavaretto for their meetings with Premier Harris, and I hope Minister Wilson, Purchase, and Hubert. And B, a more detailed briefing note which outlines, 1, key developments since April the 4th, our position regarding remarket opening, and the key issues that have been raised against opening the market this fall. Number 3, differences between California and Ontario. Let's see, and Enron's assessment of the possible difficulties in New York City this summer. I am awaiting material from Houston to complete the piece on New York City. One piece that I think needs to be added to the detailed briefing note is an overview of Enron's current commercial position in Ontario, i.e., the renegotiation of the EE contract. Is that an EE or BE? BE contract and the likelihood of pursuing a retail initiative. You will see where I have left some space for that piece, hoping that you could draft it. Have endeavored in the outline of the speaking points to focus on what we know the key issues, concerns for the government are at this stage. I have asked Sasha Jacob to provide us with profiles of Harris, Wilson, Purchase, and Hubert to include in the final briefing package. I have prepared the material on the assumption that the best use of the meeting time, likely 45 minutes with Harris and 60 minutes with Wilson, to make the case for proceeding with the market opening this fall. Let me see what we got here. OEB reports regarding market readiness are positive. To provide Harris with our perspective on developments in the U.S., particularly New York and California, about which the government may have continuing concerns, and to ask Harris what we can do to help the government move forward to a market opening this year. Rick Shapiro left me a voicemail indicating that Lavaretto and he had spoken about the visit and the supporting material. The agreement between the two of them is evidently that Rob, you and I are all to be comfortable with the briefing material before sending it to John, who will then review it and propose any changes he feels are necessary before it is forwarded to Ken Lay. I would appreciate your questions and concerns. So the proposed agenda. Ontario Market Opening Conference Call, April the 12th, 2001. Toronto, 10 a.m., Houston, 9 a.m. Where are we regarding the market opening? What have we done? What are we doing? What to do going forward, Ontario market opening initiatives, regulatory initiatives, ongoing participants on OEB retail market readiness, task force that define market readiness, plan in retail sector. That plan targets retail readiness by early September 2001 and the market operations late October, early November 2001. Board representation and participation of on the committee task force that are overseeing the testing, commissioning of the IMO systems, ongoing contact with OEB, IMO, PricewaterhouseCoopers, key advisors to government on retail market readiness, media. Have built a relationship with key newspapers, in particular the Globe and Mail and National Post. Virtually all supportive editorial coverage on market opening issues have been the result of our efforts. Columns by regularly in the Globe and Mail and Corican in the National Post. Corican is writing another article on market opening for April 17th. Corican interviewed Ken Lay on April the 4th. Ken Lay will be on Rob TV April 4th. Ken Lay's speech broadcast on Rogers Cable and CPAC. McPenny appears with message on CBC and TV Ontario regarding market opening. Latest is April the 12th. Will reach 280,000 Ontario households on each occasion. And then we have Queen's Park, which is the legislature contact and lobbying going on at the same time. Numerous meetings with key ministry and political staff, contacts in the Premier's office, Minister of Energy, Minister of Finance, Ontario Super Bill, Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, and Ministry of Environment. See the contact list. Core messaging has been on the points made in Ken Lay's speech. Develop further messages regarding resource adequacy and pricing to address concerns raised by major power consumers about fall opening. Have met regarding the same with Premier's office, Minister of Energy, Super Bill, further meetings already arranged for Premier's office and Finance. Developing further messages regarding pricing, comparing what bulk power rates would have to be under regulation and what wholesale prices would be under competition. Have retained some outfit to do analysis. Some events we have planned. We arranged for Toronto Board of Trade to adopt our messaging, the Enron messaging regarding market opening in fall, and got them to hold press conferences on March 15th. Ken Lay's speech at the Board of Trade on April the 4th. Ken Lay lunch to introduce and press message regarding market opening to three of Premier Harris's key advisors on electricity issues. Bill Farlinger, Jim Bally, and David Lindsay. Board of Trade events above dovetailed well with parallel on message event by Toronto Hydro, March 23rd. Going forward plan, Lay meeting with Premier Harris have been promised proposed dates from Premier's office by this Friday. Attendance at Premier's reception and dinner, April 19th. PC fundraiser. Bill Hawkins, key political advisor to the Premier on electricity issue, will be set at our table. Milthorne, Shapiro, DeVries, Dadson, with fourth guests attending. Efforts to get some major industrial consumer groups on side publicly with our message regarding fall. Identify ways in which we can lever the Enron systems to overcome any concern about distributor readiness, can detail what we are doing, could do in that regard. Continue to press Independent Power Producers Society of Ontario to mount public advertising campaigns comparable to IPPSA's ads in Alberta. Meeting with investment banks. Importance of early market opening is the message we want to get to the banks. Potential retainer of Tom Long, Monitor, and Leslie Noble Strategy Corp, two key advisors to Premier Harris. With a note, Long had been invited to Ken Lay's lunch but could not attend. Noble is key PC campaign organizer. She may be conflicted because of her work at OPG. She is evidently advising for political reason that market opening be pushed off until after the next election. Leveraging of the U.S. government, regulatory bodies, and reciprocity. Enron Canada. Ken Lay addressed a breakfast meeting of the Toronto Board of Trade on Wednesday, April 4th, as part of the Power Breakfast series. His topic, moving forward with electricity deregulation. Before his speech, Chairman of the Board of Trade commented that this was the best attendance ever at one of their breakfast meetings. After the meeting, Mr. Ken Lay spoke with reporters from Reuters, the Globe and Mail, National Post, and Report on Business TV, emphasizing Enron's commitment to the deregulation of the Ontario power market. How frickin' sad is that? Now, that's the PC game in it. Okay, those are those are the messages, because this is what all put it on the go here was the PCs. Now we got the PC, we got the leader of the PCs, or the Republicans, depending where you are, north or south, standing up in the House, bitching and complaining to the liberals, i.e. the Democrats, about what a mess they've made of the electrical system and why are these prices this high and so forth and so forth. Like he doesn't have a clue the steps that were taken to get us where we are now. This is what I hate about politics, right? They are too, I mean, I can't say this strongly enough. You have a body and you got two wings. And the two wings are attached to the body. And that bird is flying somewhere. And it doesn't matter if the right wing or the left wing is in power, the other wing is still flapping to help the bird get to the destination that they got planned for us. And trust me, nobody wants to get to that destination. And here we have, in 2016, idiots still bantering on about the right-left politics. Like, everybody, pull your heads out of your asses just for a little while. You know, just pull your head out of your ass and just sniff around the air a little bit. Smell the tyranny. Now get a good whiff of that. None of these people represent you. None of them. I mean, we're in this wonderful country called Canada where the politicians, unlike the Americans, care about the people. They just care about the people. Not like them American politicians. They're crazy. No, in Canada, it's a love fest. These are criminals. Your governments are criminals. It's a crime syndicate, is what it is. And they've put this thing together so you're on the hook for all the debt. Doesn't matter what they do, you're on the hook for the debt. And all of this money is rolling into their buddies' pockets. Well, you're trying to figure out how to keep a roof over your head. I mean, that little clip there that I watched just before the show, 6 minutes, and I want to thank whoever it was. I can't rightly remember who sent me that. Or maybe they didn't send it. I don't know how I ran across it or somebody sent it to me today. But if somebody sent it, thank you very much. Or put me onto it, thank you very much. Muchly appreciated. Now, I had already dug these emails out some years ago that I just read. When did I dig these things out? When did I post this thing? Let me see if I can find. Oh, I posted this in, that's its second post. This one says July 2nd, 2014, but I ran into these emails sometime before. Now, so did people wonder why their hydro rates are going up? They're wondering how you get a bill where you didn't use any electricity, but the bill's still $113. Well, Ken Lay was an honest guy. Enron was an honest company. What the hell is our premier of the province and the minister of energy and finance and everybody else doing hanging out with Ken Lay from Enron? Oh, right. Connection back to Maurice Strong. And one of Maurice Strong's sidekicks and good buddy Al Gore, who Maurice Strong and Al Gore were in business with and fleeced the snot out of everybody, run the shares up, and then grabbed the money and got the hell out of there as the shares crashed. And these are the people that our so-called duly elected officials, representatives, are hanging out with. And then we wonder why this province is in such a mess. It's the big sellout. Your water's being sold off. Your resources are being sold off. You're being bankrupted so they can bring in their god-awful guaranteed income. I mean, this is really, really, really sickening. But that's just the way it is. And it's going on and been going on for a very, very long time. I mean, you go back before World War One, way long before World War One, but you bring it up into modern times to World War One. The game was and remains one world government and the state of Israel. And it failed the mission. That's what it is, a mission for the final empire. That mission failed. Millions upon millions of people were killed in that attempt. Had nothing to do with freedom. Had nothing about defending one's freedom or country. This was all set up. And these SOBs that set it up were never tried or hung for conspiracy to commit murder, which is what the war was. Conspiracy to commit treason against the country and their countrymen. Nope, they just went on to the next phase. Let's try again. So they created depression. Knocked the pillars out. People are struggling. No work. What a wonderful time to start another war. People need to feed their families. They got no work. Well, we'll recruit them into the army and we'll fight for freedom again. What are we fighting for? We're fighting for the creation of a world body, i.e. the UN, or World Federalists, or whatever they want to call it, and a state of Israel. The second mission was quite successful. And now we're in World War III. And make no mistake about it, this is World War III. And people have been weakened of the mind and the spine to the point where these guys are more than confident they can move as fast as they bloody well want now, and nobody's even going to notice. They'll be happy to have their guaranteed income, not realizing that this small group of psychopaths have managed to have your so-called governments sign over all of the resources of your lands into this small handful of nutcases who have no problem killing hundreds of millions of people to get for what they want. Now, once they get what they want, if we let them have what they want, and that is total and complete control of everything, these are the same people through environment, because they set up the environment movement, who want to save the planet by removing most of us. And people are going, oh, that's conspiracy. They wouldn't do that. Well, in Mission 1 and Mission 2, they killed hundreds upon hundreds of millions of people. And it didn't seem to get them to lose any sleep. And people are going, well, they wouldn't do that. Well, I don't know. They're vaccinating the snot out of you. The planes are flying over your head. They poisoned your water. They poisoned your food. No, they wouldn't do that. No, maybe somewhere else, but not here in Canada. Our government cares about us. They never cared about you. It's always just been a business. And now they're coming in to finish it up. World Inc. All of your food will be supplied by fewer and fewer. You know, it's they control your food, they control your water, they control your health care, they control your education. From the time you come out of the cradle, they got you. Okay? Everything is in place, and they teach you what they want you to know and give you no useful information whatsoever. You know, Brzezinski said it, and I guess maybe he was pretty much correct. Take two and a half generations to just destroy the minds and the spines of the people to where they can't stand up. You know, you say, well, I'm going to vote for this guy or that guy or this woman or that woman for, you know, whatever, president, prime minister, whatever. Well, how is it that these psychopaths, the Soroses and the Brzezinskis and the Rockefellers and all of these tax-exempt foundations and the CFR and the, you know, all of the foreign affairs ministries. How is it that these people have been able to roll along for this long without being arrested? Because they're the ones running the show. Give me control of a nation's money and I couldn't give a damn who you vote for. Rothschild, Kissinger, he who controls the food controls the people, and so on and so forth. It's like all the mad scientists got together, and if I could control the weather, if I could control the food, if I could control the health, if I could control this, it's like they all got together and said, instead of why fighting over this, why don't we just get together and do it? We control the press. And I mean, there's no more, I mean, those emails I read, for crying out loud, how all of our press in this country are on board with this scam. And then when they started bringing these windmills in that, the same press is calling anybody that stood up again as the NIMBYs and anti-green and coal lovers and all the rest of this nonsense. We ought to be suing the media. We ought to be suing any elected representative, so-called elected representative, for fraud. Okay? They are up to their eyeballs in this fraud. And they're up to their eyeballs in every fraud. And you see how it works. I mean, this is a classic case of how it works. They get their lobbyists together. They get together with the news. The news is all hooked up with the Bilderbergers. The news is all hooked up with the United Nations, all pushing that global agenda without any pushback from anybody. So they're just going along on their merry way, and we're sitting here like idiots, arguing about right and left politics. Arguing about, well, those guys are oil producers and coal people. We want the green people. Well, look at Enron. Enron was big in wind. In fact, Florida Power, it was either, I get that backwards sometimes, Florida Power and Light or Florida Light and Power, bought the assets, the wind assets of Enron after it crashed. And they came up here to Ontario and started putting in windmills. And the media promotes it like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, knowing full well it's a scam. And then they use the media and the people and the cults to divide and separate, divide and conquer. If you're against wind, you're a racist. No different. I mean, it's always the same template. They just change the entities. They did the same thing with transgender washrooms, for crying out loud. There's the template. Plug this in, plug that in. Media, you know your job. Politicians, you know your job. Okay, let's go do it. And let us normalize it. If you don't understand what normalization is, I really highly recommend that you go listen to Yuri Brezhnikov, I think his name is. And you'll find him if you just plunge in Yuri on my blog, CanadianTruths.wordpress.com, and just listen to it. Now, he's ex-KGB. Now, just listen to the man and look at what's going on, and look where we are now. And he was over here in the 70s. So he's telling you how this is going to play out from the 70s. Now you go back and you listen to that, and you look at where we are today, and you'll go, damn, that guy knew what the hell he was talking about. You take something that's completely unacceptable, and then you normalize it. And we have got to get moving here. Okay, we desperately need to start getting in the faces of our local councillors. You can't do anything about the Obamas or the Trudeaus. You can't do anything about the premiers and that. I suppose we could sue them. We better sue them. But your real target is your local town council. There isn't a city manager. There's not one city manager or one CIO out there, not one, that hasn't been trained in the implementation of the UN agendas. And it's not just Agenda 21. They have multiple agendas. And every city manager, CAO, has been schooled specifically in how to implement this. And they're not even elected. But the city managers and the CAOs set the agendas for the councils. And then these little bird-brained councillors are led and told by the CAO and the city managers what needs to be implemented. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I guess, yeah, we better vote on that. So you need to get in the face of your local councils and call out the city managers. I mean, call them out. Put their freaking posters, put wanted posters up on your telephone poles and your trees in your community. Put up the pictures of your councils and their home phone numbers and tell them to phone because they're trying to kill your children. Put posters up that this group of people that you think is your local council are actually members of international crime syndicate. They've had it too easy, too comfortable. It's time to smash their comfort zone. These people now that are running this show all come out of these universities, UN universities, where they're indoctrinated, and those who they've managed to sell the cult thought process to are the ones they vet and the ones they stroke and the ones they put into public policy positions. And we're paying them for our own demise. These people are getting a lot better paycheck than you're getting. And they're trying to destroy you, and you're paying them. How stupid are we? We don't have to remain stupid. We don't have to remain ignorant. We don't have to remain silent. We don't have to remain weak. They mean business. Then we better mean business. This idea of we can't do anything ever is ridiculous. I mean, that's been planted into our heads since when? You know, I've heard it too many times throughout my life. Oh, they'll just do whatever they want anyway. It doesn't seem matter who you vote for. They'll just do whatever they want anyway. And for all you Trump lovers out there, before I end this show today, give your head a shake. Go do some background checks on Cruz. He's a lawyer. That should negate him right there. If his lawyer's a liar. And all of these people that are running in the election in the United States keep yammering on about a democracy. When the hell did America turn into a democracy? If the candidates are calling America a democracy when it was founded as a republic, you might want to consider not voting. Because if all of these candidates are calling it a demonocracy, which it is, it's turned into now, how could you possibly vote for somebody that's not calling it a republic? Makes no sense. Now, my question to the people who are all Trump freaks right now, and there seems to be an awful lot of them, and I'm not picking on Trump. He's just another puppet, just like the rest of them, all playing their part. Okay, he's a loudmouth puppet. And you got Bernie, the little socialist concern puppet, and the other puppets. But my concern for the Trump supporters, and they jumped on me. If you put in, I put this up on my blog, and I don't know can I get back, or not my blog, I put this up on my Facebook, and I don't know if I can get back to it before we get off here, but I'm going to try like hell. I put up a post. My good friend Art told me to look up Trump in etymology. And I go, huh? So he looks it up and he reads it to me. I said, well, this is nuts. I got to do this. So I took a picture of Trump, and he's got his mouth open and his eyes wide open. And it says, and it's really weird because when I put these words in, the apostrophe or the comma landed right smack in the bridge of his nose, separating the two words, can deceive and cheat. So I just put this out. Look up Trump at dictionary.com. Fabricate, devise, 1690s from Trump is to deceive and cheat. And he's a pretty loudmouth guy. And so it also says blow the trumpet as act the fool. That's the definition out of etymology on Trump. So I put that up, and some Trump supporters got not as bad as I thought. Some of them got a little bit upset. But I did put a kind of caveat at the top of it. You know, I said, please consider voting for none of the candidates. Prove to them that you are awake. And I stand by that. And so don't vote. Okay? Do not vote. Because you can't say you're awake and vote. What you can do is be awake and alert everybody else you can. Because my question to these Trump people was, okay, here's the problem. This guy doesn't win, then what? Okay, you're looking for a hero. They don't exist. You want to find a hero? Go look in the mirror. That's where the hero is. These are all heroes. Stand together and see how much power you got. It'll freak you out. But looking for this one savior of a country, I mean, how freaking ludicrous could that possibly be? And I hear music. Everybody have a banger night. And we'll be back here Thursday night, 7 o'clock, and see what else is going on in the world then. All right? Everybody take care, and have a great night. Have a good one. We're out of here.